I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the News du Jour, a calmer space to consume the news. So surprisingly enough, today's episode is not super jam-packed. I will be going over the DeSantis situation right here at the top, and let me tell you, it was a situation from what I have gathered, but then we're going to go into the longest sentence yet for a January 6th rioter, and sort of break down why it was such a long sentence and exactly what the ramifications are of this sentencing. So without further ado, let's jump into the news.
Hey guys, it's Kayla Ewell from Directionally Challenged, a podcast about realigning your internal compass. New KFC chicken nuggets are finally here, and you have never had nuggets like these. All of the delicious KFC flavor you love in one amazing chicken nugget. 100% white meat, hand-breaded in KFC's original recipe. Order new KFC fried chicken nuggets now, available at participating KFC near you. Guys, they're finger-licking good.
So let's jump into the Ron DeSantis debacle. You guys, it was pretty bizarre, and it was kind of hard to me to understand exactly what was even going on. It was that messy. It was kind of like a Zoom call without any video, but then they began playing like video clips that were like pre-recorded of Ron DeSantis while he was talking. So it was like confusing because it was kind of like a rant by DeSantis in a lot of ways. It sounded like he was just ranting about wokeism. The word woke was used quite a lot. He suggested that the low sign-up rates for the military had to do with the military respecting people's pronouns and things of that nature. So you guys can understand what the rhetoric was like. It was very Trump-esque, but it just almost felt mostly like a rant with, again, like a Zoom call kind of feel. Anyway, sometimes, like I said, there were videos of DeSantis playing with flowing American flags that were clearly staged and pre-recorded. But there were also a number of glitches that happened and kind of like hot mic moments that were really awkward, lots of long, awkward silences. And this is, again, due to the technology kind of crashing, but it just ended up being as bizarre as it sounded like it would be, if not more so, because I really pictured like more like a televised live situation that would just be playing on Twitter. I definitely didn't think we'd be getting this kind of Zoom call without video footage. So it was just very strange. To say it was a flop, I think, would be an understatement. And again, it wasn't about what was being said so much as the awkwardness and glitches of the whole event, as well as the rant kind of feel of it. It didn't feel like a speech. It felt like he was just like ranting and ranting. That made it feel like this whole campaign doesn't have their shit together, in my opinion, and set a very bizarre tone for this campaign from the get-go. So put it this way, I think both Biden and Trump are definitely off somewhere laughing right now at this whole fiasco. But DeSantis is now officially in the race, you guys, and that's pretty much the update that I have for you guys on that subject. And now, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about an 18-year sentence for a January 6th case that marks the longest sentence doled out so far. So I feel like this was a significant escalation, at least for the cases that I've come across. It felt like 4 years here, 8 years there. The longest sentence before this one was 14 years, but this 18-year sentence is definitely pretty intense. So what exactly did this guy do, and what was he charged with, and what are the larger ramifications here? Let's get into it. So this dude's name is Stewart Rhodes, and he was the leader of one of the groups organizing the events of January 6th, the Oath Keepers. Rhodes actually got his law degree from Yale and had served in the army, as well as doing some time on Capitol Hill. So that was quite the primer for everything that was to go down on January 6th. Leading up to January 6th, Stewart Rhodes posted to message boards about how January 6th would be their final opportunity to overthrow the American government with or without the help of Donald Trump. He wrote that it would be, quote unquote, a bloody civil war, and he was instrumental in organizing the events that actually played out. On the actual day of January 6th, he was seen on the steps of the Capitol and was apparently organizing things out from there, sending a lot of text messages and kind of ordering people around. So these charges are mostly a result of the planning, organizing, and promotion that he put into that day, not his actual actions on the day of, as he never physically entered the Capitol. Witnesses recounted PTSD from that day and how colleagues of theirs died by suicide because of these events. A jury in D.C. found Rhodes to be guilty of seditious conspiracy, among several other felonies. And the court considered his role in the events to fit the legal definition of terrorism, and thus his sentence was actually increased. The judge said he felt that this particular man was a threat to our democracy as a whole, as Rhodes had actually been calling for attacks on the U.S. government for more than a decade prior to January 6th. He also continued to hold his same stances and views after going to jail, where he did an interview still pushing the election fraud narrative. And he complained that he was a political prisoner, which would mean that he hadn't actually broken any laws, which he had. But as the judge told Rhodes, this is, quote, not because of your beliefs, not because you supported the other guy, not because Joe Biden is president right now, but because of the facts of this case and your actions before, during, and after January 6th. You are not a political prisoner, Mr. Rhodes, end quote. And that for today is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "Nothing is more noble but more vulnerable than loyalty." If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use to listen. A rate and review or shout out on social media would mean the world to us and help us be able to keep creating the news du jour. But the best way to support all of our work is to become a patron at www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram and just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from
Hey guys, it's Kayla Ewell from Directionally Challenged, a podcast about realigning your internal compass. New KFC chicken nuggets are finally here, and you have never had nuggets like these. All of the delicious KFC flavor you love in one amazing chicken nugget. 100% white meat, hand-breaded in KFC's original recipe. Order new KFC fried chicken nuggets now, available at participating KFC near you. Guys, they're finger-licking good.